here. I risk everything. I leave everything behind. Salut.
Или потому что я сильна.
I came as a migrant from Bosnia to a free city, to Berlin.
In the 90s, we would drop Balkan music into the dancing crowd.
Balkan Beats everywhere!
People loved it. But after almost 3 decades, I'm tired of this. I don't enjoy it anymore. I have enough. I really have enough.
Kuda si krenuo, ako mi možeš reći?
I have to do some sound hunting. Always when I need inspiration, I went to my roots. I am looking for a new sound of Europe. The new Europeans, the migrants, will help me find that sound.
To Germany, I'll be famous.
I said bye to my dad. I'm not gonna see him anymore.
I'm a mix, you know, so I have to find my way.
I come from Palestine. I never had a homeland.
What language we have to use in order to understand each other? My world is the dance floor.
Dance floor.
Taking pieces of different cultures, mixing them together, it's cultural recycling.
Sve drugo nema smisla.
And kindly keep in mind that this webinar session is being recorded and then also broadcasted live on our YouTube, Europe on Screen YouTube at the moment. And all participants are muted in order to enable the speech interruption. And we also activate the Q&A box where you can type your question that will be answered during the Q&A part of the webinar. And the whole session will be conducted in English. So no, we will not talk in German, I guess, this time. So Yeah. Can I just call you Robert, right? I mean, instead
I
of
would say, Robert,
calling...
it's
Great,
my name.
thank you. Yes. Probably you would like to explain, maybe to share basically the experience that you and Sergej have in the very beginning when you guys made the
Flash new cultural flavors entering the old continent, and why should not we eventually put focus on these kinds of collaborations, which I then finally started doing in 2016, and he started filming what's happening. So, but in the very beginning, it took a while somehow to get the orientation. Where do we go? What do we want to say to this world?
So then it started like, and then you finally wrap it up like in 2019, or was it 2018 at the time?
We started filming, let's say, the late 2017 until the end of 2020. It was almost 3 years of filming somehow, you know.
Okay. And then what was the biggest changes that so far, because you earlier said that it was already started, the idea to film the experience. What was the biggest changes?
Okay, the new, as I said before, the new refugees coming from Syria, from Afghanistan, and many other countries, entering Europe in let's say, flocking into Europe in bigger numbers. That was somehow the triggering moment for us to try to collaborate on a musical level and see what comes out of it. And Sergej found it then interesting to film and to create a story finally out of it. Yeah.
So we see more into your film. At the very beginning, you're saying you're opening the film with you driving in your taxi, and then you were saying actually also that your first music club was actually in the taxi.
And that's true. Yeah, we can see it. Like, yes, indeed. I always had a big affinity for music, and I love making my cassettes back in time and playing them in the taxi whilst driving. And people would listen to my music, either they like it or not. And it was my very first litmus test to see how does it feel to serve your musical choice to someone else and see how they're reacting. Yes, it was my very first club, rolling club. And yeah, I also announced in the movie that I have enough of Balkan music, which to some extent is also true, because ever since I came to Berlin, which is in the 90s, almost 30 years, I'm dealing with that. Like, you know, it was my only, let's say, cultural activity, Balkan Beats, Balkan music. And of course, at some point you reach a level where you have enough and you would love to somehow see something eventually new coming your way. And this is, well, how the whole story then happened in the end.
And it's also interesting because at the beginning, the movie started with all this glitzy or this colorful, and then, but then like going into the deeper, the middle part of the film, and you will really see that Here We Move, Here We Groove is actually about the movement of the people around the world, and then the people who coming actually to also Europe. This is something that's really intriguing to see. Does it also involve your own personal experience coming to Berlin as well?
Absolutely, because I myself, as a young man, found myself in the same position. Okay, I wasn't necessarily a refugee, what we see today, but I moved from Bosnia back then to Germany, subjected to a foreign country and trying to find my way and to establish my life. And I pretty well knew how it feels like to be a foreigner in an unknown territory. This is something what was my very personal vibration or frequency to it. And yeah, absolutely. And I think it helped a lot also to produce a documentary like that, to somehow make it all happen in a way we did. I would say what we tried to explain or to depict is finally the emergence of tolerance, because tolerance, in my opinion, is a fundament of a, let's say, a stable coexistence of a good life in the end. And but what does it mean, tolerance? I mean, tolerance is not a task that you do once and then it's done. No, it's a permanent, it's a curvy road which goes left and right, up and down, and it never stops. So it reminded me to a situation when I was a cab driver back in time in Berlin. You know, you are subjected to many construction sites. And I thought like, wow, one day when the city is done, it's going to be beautiful. And city is beautiful, but the construction sites are still there. So what does it mean? It means we live with them, we live with obstacles. And exactly this is the case here. The emergence of tolerance is a very perplexed, complex, how to say, dynamic. And we wanted to illustrate a little bit through this movie. What is it?
Yes, I think this is also interesting when you are talking about tolerance as a part of something that moves, something that dynamic. I think you managed to deliver that without having to put a lot of words, but it can be shown in one of the scene where you park your car and then you do the beatboxing with the kid.
Yeah, the spontaneous moments, that they just happen. Yeah, this is eventually I think it's possible because I already I have this presetting in me, you know, that I can let's say create or let these situations happen to me without preparing them, just like be spontaneous, make something out of this very moment without questioning it a lot. And we see it, and obviously it works well. I mean, many people up until now would refer to this scene and would like it and see things. And makes me also think like when I speak to you guys now who are giving me reviews, I'm also discovering certain things, you know.
Yeah, but I think this is also the beauty of making a documentary. Like some surprises always found out and like on the road on the making of the film itself, right? So that's actually what really interesting. And I'm also surprised with all this how you would say the capture of the immigrants and then people that coming to the Serbian and then also to the border, and they felt like they have to gambling the game. This is something that I mean, can you maybe
well, I can only tell you what they told me. Actually,
I was surprised.
Yeah, the process of crossing the border from Bosnia to Croatia, which is actually the European Union border at the same time, let's say the stronghold of getting into Europe, or the strong position. And they call it game. Why game? Because for them, as you said, is gambling. It's maybe it works out, but maybe it doesn't. So let's go for a game. Let's go for a game meant or means still nowadays. Let's try. Let's give it a try. Just the same as if you go to casino and you try, maybe you win, but maybe you won't. And it has the same, let's say, how would you call it now, setting, the same mindset is behind it, you know. And we went to Bosnia, and then, I mean, this just happened or happens that you go to Bihać, to some other cities, and you see literally the groups of men and women walking somewhere. That's really impressive, I have to say. If you think back, like these people are working for 2,000-3,000 kilometers. It's not 20 kilometers. It's a couple of thousand kilometers walking to be there where they are. It's like, wow, how do you do it, man? I mean, walking. Yeah, we are not talking about flying, about taking a train. Oh, very fascinating, very fascinating.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, like, I cannot imagine. And they were also sleeping by the road, and
wherever they manage, in abandoned houses, and they also get hurt by minefields because they don't know. Because we had our own mayhem just a couple of decades ago, the Yugoslavian war. Yeah,
that's true.
It's sometimes very paradoxic, you know what I mean? Like they come from a dangerous zone and then they come to Europe and land in Bosnia, which was dangerous at some point, and minefields, for instance. Like, okay, good. Welcome to Europe. I mean,
well, this is very interesting. This is something maybe also our audience here, like they always imagine Europe as something that, how would I say, beautiful, a grand or something like that. But then there's also another fact that what you try to deliver with your films, that there are these facts. Yes,
exactly. And there is also another different faces of Europe. Absolutely.
Exactly, like any part of the world, including in Indonesia. So we have also faced that kind of issue with the borders. And talking about borders, it was also like one of my favorite scenes is probably the one where you, the kid and your girlfriend is actually eating the couscous together.
That was a good one. Obviously, everyone likes it. It's it really happened spontaneously. I mean, Hannah, my girlfriend, decided to make a couscous. And then probably you know that the Arab way, but probably also some other cultures are doing the same, eating with the hand, and it has a certain rule. It's not just like grabbing things randomly. You have to know how to do it. Yet I never really did it, and I just continuously asked her about what happens with these, these border definitions. Who is eating what? How to eat the borders? And well, it turned out to be a good shot. Yeah.
Yeah, and then also your little girl also was like joining, and then
and Yasmin.
Yasmin. She was also talking. That was really cute. That was really cute indeed.
Thank you.
So yes, we have already some of the questions from our audience today. Let me check before we continue. Okay, so this one is from Farhan. Hi, Robert. How do you set your boundaries during the shooting process, considering the camera follows your almost everyday life?
In the beginning, it was quite, what would you call it, tough, unusual, because I'm not really someone who was used to have a camera behind his neck all the time. But thanks to the crew, the guys from the Netherlands who were filming it, they were really nice guys, very easygoing. Very soon we developed a nice atmosphere. So it didn't feel anymore. It didn't feel like they're filming. Of course, sometimes it's like, okay, are you ready? It has to be a little bit staged, you have to. I mean, I have to say, to some extent, I think it was a hard job because what Sergej, director, wanted, he wanted to make a long featured movie without any storyboard. It's just like, okay, we go now and let's see what happens. So you don't know what's going to happen, but he wants to have it in camera on the movie. So that was a little bit of a demanding moment, because I knew every time we go out there, whatever it is in Marseille or Greece or Netherlands, he wants something to happen. Otherwise, what's the point of filming me? But in order for something to happen, I have to intervene. I have to invent certain scenes. For instance, one very awkward situation happened in Marseille. We went to a market. It was a sort of an Arab market, and of course, not all these people like the idea that now some what were Dutch people are going around with cameras and film. Yeah, because it's a black market also, and Sergej wanted me somehow to make them sing for me. Like, how do I do that? So back to this question, sometimes it was heavy, yet in the end I got used to it, and then it went smooth. So
so that was like, I don't know, what was it like, most of the interesting part of filming during this film? Or
what do you mean now, the Marseille story, the market?
Yes, the market stories. Was it like
the heaviest? I said to Sergej, we almost fought each other afterwards, like, don't push me to this, someone might stab me with a knife. It might be dangerous, because you never know, you go out there is no security, you just get dropped under into the crowd, and mostly it's nice people, but sometimes people don't want you to film. They don't know, who are you now to film here, on a black market, full of smugglers and stuff. Like, okay, good. Somehow I survived, but I told you, please don't push me that hard, because then you don't have anything out of it. I'm in a bad mood, I'm grumpy then, or not really productive. You know what I mean? Therefore, that was let's say the ugliest one for me. Otherwise, it's okay. It's nice to film. I mean, once you set up the frequency with the crew behind you, it's cool. It's somehow creative. It's like making music.
Okay, right. And then so if that is one of your let's say bad experience, then what is the fun experience while filming this film?
That's a good question. Nobody asked me this yet. The funny experience, when we stopped filming.
And when the best picture, probably. And then what?
I couldn't tell. I mean, what I loved definitely is driving through Bosnia, the country I came from, and then we would go up to mountains. You guys see only a little part of what we did. We made 80 hours of movie material. 80 hours, and you see only 1.5, so we went through the mountains, the rivers, and landscapes over landscape. That was quite something. You sit there with music, you drive. It's cool.
Okay. So the feeling of coming home, that was like one of the fun parts.
Yeah, it was. It was, definitely. It was.
Okay. All right. So now we go to the next question from the audience that follows our conversation today. From Ariana Sarah. Hi, DJ Soko. Really love the movie. It is so emotional to me. My question is, as long as there are still countries with conflict or civil war, I think the refugee problem will never stop. Seeing the world today, what is your personal opinion about the increasing refugee, and how serious are you to support this through your music?
It's a very tough question again.
Yes,
But,
it is.
I mean, I don't want to be too pessimistic, but then again, unfortunately, the history has taught us that the conflicts never stop, and there is always something bad happening, which causes another chain of other bad happenings. So, speaking of this, I don't think we're going to resolve a human problem, which means conflicts, whatever it is, very soon, maybe in a couple of thousands of years. And how much activities like mine, music or arts in general, can affect. I think it can. I mean, it is a long process, but I think by talking about this, documenting it, depicting it, and showing it to the world, we do a little bit towards better understanding, open-mindedness, and in the end, eventually a better society we live in. I think we do, and therefore I think it's important to keep doing. You know, I know very well that I'm not going to change the world on a big scale, certainly not.
True.
But a little bit, okay, you know, and if we all do more on that, of this, well, then maybe we have a even better life than we have now. Not that we are living in a bad times, to be honest, but yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think, yeah, I mean, individually, we couldn't probably change the world, but at least we could touch people's heart, especially through your films, that to know that there is this kind of problem exists. So maybe people would be moved to do something.
Exactly, or at least they start thinking differently. You know what I mean?
Yes, that's true.
You know, for instance, in the movie, I insisted from the director to film the scene where I have a fight with my girlfriend about what language we use. Because at some point in my life, it's not a staged situation. We had a problem because my girlfriend is from the Arab origins and she wanted our daughter to speak Arabic. Very nice, I love it. But what happened is, as a collateral damage, that I couldn't understand the small one for a while. And I was a little bit pissed off. I was a little bit, I don't know if it's intolerant or prejudiced, I don't know, but I was a little bit like angry about that. And I said to Sergej, director, like, please film it. I don't know if I'm right. Just expose me to this situation. Why? Because the scene in the end shows that we are still together. We keep living together. Our daughter now speaks languages everybody understands, and it goes further and further. So it's like obstacles are there, but, well, my God, changes happens all the time. But the question is, how do we now find a solution? And finding a solution is actually, in my opinion, the only way, always to find a solution for something.
Yes, I think that's that's really good. That's a good solution, I think, also for you, and especially for your daughter. Like the diversity of the two of you, that's actually enriched her life too. So
yeah, and in the end, now we see that it's doable. It's actually, it was not a problem, but it's at a certain level, it was a problem for me, for my mind. And then 2 years later, we see problem resolved. It goes well, it's fine. And exactly this format I wanted to put in the movie, to show myself as let's say, a prejudiced guy, and then later with a good outcome out of it. It's possible.
Yeah, that's good. And setting yourself, that's true, setting yourself as an example. I think that's a good way to do it.
Yeah.
All right, so then the next question is from Fanny. Hi, Mr. Robert. Did you enjoy to be actor? Which one you like, to be actor or DJ?
To be honest, I mean, I didn't. Being actor, okay, being permanently exposed to the camera and stuff, it's not necessarily so funny, but okay, I did it. But also, to be honest, I didn't like seeing myself. Yeah, this is another perspective. Like, okay, this guy, what I saw, I'm not sure I would be fan of it, but okay, that's me. So therefore, the answer is somehow ambiguous. Yes and no. Rather no than yes, to be honest.
Okay. Okay, that's good. But right now you are still DJing, right? Are you? I was just like wondering.
No, right
how...
now, I mean, you guys also have the same COVID restrictions and all this
Yes.
mayhem happening. No, I mean, ever since the COVID outbroke, I don't DJ anymore. I mean, I did lately in Warsaw, but it was all weird because you can't have people really having party.
Right.
Yeah, but I hope we're gonna go back to normality and reality soon. But right now means 18 months, 19 months, nothing's happening.
I see. Yeah, here is the same basically. So I was just like wondering whether there's an event of live music or something that's involved.
Yeah.
Music, that would be so nice. I miss that. I miss concerts.
But everyone does, and well, I really think 22 should be the year of slowly coming back to reality. Whatever, however, somehow it can't stay like this forever. I mean,
that's true. But how is it actually right now in Serbia? Are the movies, cinema are opening or?
In Serbia, I mean, I live in Germany, but I just happen to be in Serbia these days. They see it a bit more relaxed. They don't really abide to the rules as much as Germans do. Yes, they have events. Only a few days ago, I went to see something. It was full, people meeting. Like, I'm also puzzled, like, what is this? On one hand, you see media is teaching us, lecturing us how to make things or what not to do. On the other hand, you go public and you see I don't know. It's a bit confusing. Yeah, in Serbia, it's less strict than it is in Germany. Germans are known for their love for this, so they are a little bit harder on that. Does it really change something? I don't know. We will see.
Okay. All right. And that's good to know that. I mean, at least in Serbia, it's a little bit more.
It's more relaxed. Yeah,
relax, and there's space to move. I mean, here in Indonesia, we still have our semi-lockdown, but people can still move also. So, which is good.
Here we can move also in Germany. You can easily move. You can travel with the test. You have to have a test. This is another aspect. Yeah. You have always to make a test. Yeah, exactly. You can do that, sure. But, you sit in the train, you have to wear a mask. It's not nice. Oh my God, stuff like that. But okay, c'est la vie. That's life.
That's true, c'est la vie.
Yeah.
All right. So so there's another question from Bambang Junaidi. Hi Robert, it was a captivating documentary. Just out of curiosity, do you think your son, no, not son, the daughter, will follow your footsteps to be a DJ in the future? And do you, this the second one, I think we have already answered. And do you still DJing during the pandemic? So do you think your kids will follow?
To be honest, I don't think. Because I have a son who is 21, and at some point I thought he might be interested. No, he's not. There is something I think that kids don't want necessarily to be the same like their parents do. So it doesn't look like.
So what he wanted to be then?
What she wants to be, I don't know now. It's too, I don't know. She's too small for that.
Okay.
But my son, he's, I don't know, I couldn't tell, not really interested in anything particularly. Maybe it will come. Well,
yeah, maybe it will come.
But he has a certain, to be honest, it's not hostility, but what would you call it then, towards my activities. He doesn't really like it. But I think it's normal. When you're a young man, your father is somehow into show business, sort of a name, and then there is like, please don't.
So it's part of his being
amount of dislike.
Yeah. That's true. Yes, and then also the next question is, hi Robert, could you share us your perception of the differences on perception and attitude of Europeans towards refugees in the 90s and now at the present time?
I have the impression that the Europeans have become a little bit more less welcoming, more rejective. This is my opinion. I mean, nevertheless, many European countries are also ruled by right-wing politics, and in general, the mood after 9/11 especially has changed. And therefore, I think it's worse than it was in the 90s. To keep it short, I think it has deteriorated in terms of how we deal with people who seek refuge and who are trying to establish a new life. We make it harder for them. This is my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong, but this is how I feel it somehow.
So you feel that now it's getting more
it's getting harder to establish yourself. Exactly. Yeah. This is my opinion, that it's there are so many obstacles in the meantime. I have the impression in the 90s for us from Bosnia, Serbia, Croatia was a way easier to come to Germany or any other European country and settle down and start your life than it is to the nowadays refugees coming from, let's say, Afghanistan or Syria. Not necessarily easy.
Yeah, I think, does it also like connected to the fundamentalists? Because here in Indonesia, compared to the 90s, the fundamentalist plays role into creating.
I think it is. I think it is. Yeah, I think it is. So that's my opinion in short. Well, what does it mean? What should be done? I really don't know. I'm trying to do a little bit on my own scale, as much as we can, and say, look, these people, and most of these people are just great people, actually, and and trying to make it vivid, to make it visible. Does it help? We will see.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's also. Okay, and then also there was spotlight in your film. I hope that I'm not giving any spoiler to our audience here as well. That you had this moment of like, okay, I'm not gonna do this anymore. Like already fed up. I mean, this is something that's also interesting. All of us have been through those kind of phase where you just fed up with your work.
Yeah.
So, can you probably share tips to get out of the?
It's more normally called a typical burnout. After ages of doing the same thing, you just can't see it anymore. Like, enough. No matter how lucrative it is, how funny it is, you're just like, give me something else. Let me feed the goats and the horses on the countryside. This is how I felt at that moment, 2017, I think it was. I really felt like I can't stand on stage anymore and play music for young drunken people. I'm too old for this. I have nothing anymore to say. A typical burnout. Like, I can't do it anymore. I can't hear this music. I've heard every song I play 300 times. I mean, come on, how many times shall I play it? Stuff like that. Yet I overcame it somehow by putting new spices in it. This is maybe the recipe, so to speak, to make a little break and then try to put something new into it. And then again, now I feel again somehow, well, how would you call it now? Revived. Yeah, I want to do it again. I want to play again. I want to do it again.
Did the film also help you?
Took me 2 years of somehow
getting down.
Yeah, somehow, yeah, to get out of this, To some extent, I profited from Corona, from the COVID situation, because COVID.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because it stopped me unnaturally and said, okay, even if you want to play, you can't. So, and this break was like, okay, first 6 months, I enjoyed it. Like, wow, how good it is not to go anywhere anymore and play. But now slowly I'm hungry again, Yeah.
So now you're ready to do the thing.
I think I am. Now, after 18 months of a break, it's cool. Why not?
Okay.
Yeah.
And also, are you still in touch with the kid, the kid that you share in the movie until today?
The Ferdus.
Yes.
Yes, we are in touch on different messengers. He lives also in Germany. He is nearby in the southern part of Germany. Doesn't matter now exactly where he is. And he is really planning to come to Berlin. And I think, to be honest, the Taliban situation now is helping him.
Yes.
Because the German government won't send him back. So somehow it's a paradox. But what happened in Afghanistan these days, the Taliban regime re-established, etc., will have the Afghani refugees who are already in Germany to have the right to stay. So somehow we made a song called Afghan Rap, supposed to come these days out. Yeah, you can.
Oh, cool.
Just go to www.balkanbeats.eu and you can hear and see a new video spot and stuff. This is what happens out of these collaborations. I mean, this song, for instance, It's let me say, this new old stuff, this new way of thinking or trying to recycle,
Yeah, so so if people wants to hear it, go to the
Yes, I write it down
www.balkanbeats.eu.
here, Balkan Beats.
Yes, that would be great.
It's actually my webpage. And then you will see it immediately on the first spot. You will see new EP, and then you can hear and see our track with the Ferdus, the guy from the movie.
Yeah.
And we are releasing songs with him now, slowly, like. Yeah.
Yeah. And when you first go on stage again after this pandemic over, hopefully soon, you will play it with him as well.
But we will try. We have to, it's quite a work. He has to be in Berlin. We have to prepare things, and then I think that would be quite something, Yes, yeah. I would love to. Let me say, I would love to. Yeah.
Okay, that's good. I'm looking forward to hear that. So there's another questions from our audience from Daru Christian. Hello, Robert. This documentary have many language, and my question is, how many language do you speak? Wow.
I speak 4 languages. I speak English, as you can hear, obviously, German, Croat, which is my language, or Serbian, whatever, and French.
There you go, Daru.
Actually, it's 5. Actually, it's 5, but Serb and Croat is the same language, so I should not be showing off too much with this, we used to have one country, Croatia, Serbia, etc., and then we split, and now we have Serbian language, Croat language. I speak both because they are very similar. It's one language again, so, well, 5.
So that a little bit of different accent make you entitled to another language.
Exactly, yeah. But indeed it is. I mean, officially it is, but they use the different letters, the different alphabet. This is the difference.
Ah, all right.
Yeah, Cyrillic and Latin and Kyrillic, like Russians, for instance, they use Cyrillic.
Okay.
So
all right.
Let's stay with 4 languages. I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yes, there's also another questions. This is coming from Anonymous. Have your film been screened in another country, and how's the reception and the responses?
I have to say for now, I mean, again, Corona has messed up a little bit our plans. The movie has been launched in November last year and was screened in certain festivals. Reaction is really good. Only last weekend I was in Warsaw, in Poland, amazing. Also in Amsterdam and Haarlem, and the official kickstart for the cinemas in Europe is today. Now, is today the 16th? Yeah, 16th September is the official kickstart for the cinemas. In only from today, this movie starts to live, because up until now it was in the festivals. Great, with all due respect to festivals, but it doesn't mean that a big number of people is going to see it, especially not in COVID times. Now we go to cinemas and then later TV. Reaction is really good. For now, I'm surprised. To be honest, I didn't like the movie the very first time. I was like, what's this, man? When I watched it first time, the premiere in Amsterdam in November 2020, I was like, wow, what is this? Where is the movie? But now I understood that it's I think it's really good. We managed to somehow say something.
That's true. But did you feel like weird because you're saying that you didn't like to see yourself on the film at the beginning? So.
No, I got used. Now I just see it as some guy doing something, But I didn't like and don't like seeing myself performing in the video world, in the movie world. But it's probably my narcissistic attitude, because we all want to see us as heroes, as beautiful appearance, and if it doesn't happen, and it doesn't happen in the movie necessarily, then you're like, oh God, look at me.
But that was actually the interesting part. It makes you more human.
Yeah. On the other hand, I think that's why I say this is probably only my narcissistic attitude.
Part. Yeah. Okay. Okay, and now that we have also another question from Alif Imanzaki. Do you intend to be involved in any other cinematic project after this, dear sir? And do you have an interest in visiting Indonesia after the pandemic? Oh, that's an interesting question.
Well, I mean, I have no plan for now, but I would not say no to an interesting movie project when it happens again. It depends on what, of course. But principally, yes. And Indonesia, sure. I mean, Indonesia is one of the countries I haven't been around. I would love to see your country, because it's a big country. It's on the other side of the world. Of course. Yes, I'm interested.
Good. That's okay. And Alif actually have another question, a bit unrelated, but is it true that there are significant opinion among peoples in the former Yugoslavian countries that think that the Yugoslav era, especially during Tito presidency, is much better than now in regards to economic and ethnic harmony?
I just didn't understand the point of the question. Is there a lot of, can you?
So the question is, Alif wanted to compare the situation of the economic and ethnic harmony at the present time compared to the Yugoslav era or during Tito presidency.
Okay, another tough question. Well, we lived under Tito. I grew up under Tito's time. I lived in this country for 20 years as a child and as a young man. So therefore, maybe my opinion is not necessarily the most expertise one. But I think that nowadays, I mean, I'm often in Croatia because I have my apartment there, but also in Serbia. People will be always complaining. People always say it was better before. I don't really think so, because why? I see that people are building new houses, driving big fat cars, eating well, dressing up well. I don't have the impression that the society is poor or is run down. I have the impression we live better with, let's say, also more freedom. But then again, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's an illusion, you know. I personally think it is better a little bit than it was before in the Yugoslavian time. If I'm wrong, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. We had more, I mean, what was better in the Yugoslavian time? Somehow this national, what we have in the former Yugoslavian countries, the national sensibility is being tamed. It was not so aggressive as it is nowadays. This is maybe something what is different.
Okay. But this is also something that probably you can find in another country. Like, for example, I heard some of the Berliners said that, oh, it is better during the era than now, or...
I hear it all the time. I don't know, for some reason, I don't really agree on that. I think certain things were better, but in total, no, not necessarily. It is not so bad what we live nowadays, at least in Europe, at least where I live. It's okay. I mean, even in the Yugoslavian countries, but also in Germany. Yeah, that's my opinion.
Okay. So yes, I think we have already covered all of the questions.
I think something.
Are there people that still wants to ask questions? No, we have already covered our questions. Wow, that was that's really nice.
Cool.
Yeah. So yes, you know, I've been to Lido actually, but I've never been to your Balkan Beats. So the club in Berlin.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I used to study in Berlin. That's for my German. That's why. So I'm looking forward.
This is why you speak German. Okay, now I got the link. Yeah.
So yes, I'm looking forward to see your performance again, probably at the Lido. And one last question, probably from my part. What are the music?
Come around, just let me know, please.
Oh yes, for sure. I will let you know. And yes, what are the music that you hear now lately, especially during pandemic, since you are in your own surrounding, in your own
What are the music I was?
Yes. What are the music that you're listening lately?
The music I was listening to. Listen, I happened to buy a piano, and at the young age of 50, I decided to learn how to play piano. And nowadays, 1 year later, I play Chopin, Frédéric Chopin, the great Polish composer.
Wow.
I'm a big fan of Frédéric Chopin. Yeah. And this is what I did. Learn notes, to read notes, the scores, you know, and to play. I don't want to say I am a great pianist now, but I have a much better understanding of musical theory, and I can play certain pieces of Chopin, of Mozart, and a couple of more. And this is what I did. I healed my soul, my heart, with classical music a little bit. Something I always liked, but never really had the opportunity to deal with this. So this is what I do.
Oh, that's good. That is something that people also learned during the pandemic.
Yeah, you are frozen now. I don't know if you can hear me.
Oh, I can hear you. No worries. I can hear you. Oh, okay. Oh, there's another.
This is
one.
good. At least you can hear me. Your picture is frozen. But...
Okay. All right. So one more question that just showed up actually, because he was late. Could you tell me about the pandemic impact your work as a DJ?
But sure, absolutely. I mean, we spoke about this. It stopped us from our activities. Means no clubbings, no parties in the end. It has a massive impact also on my financial situation, to be honest, if you ask me this and want to know this. Yeah, we don't earn our money with anymore, you know, and this is, thank God, Germany is a, let's say, rich and stable country. They give certain support to the artists, but it's just to survive somehow, to cover the basic expenses, and that's it. Therefore, yes, it has had, and also, for instance, I have a band, means a couple of people with me producing. It's not easy to keep them together because you don't offer them anymore. We don't play, we don't perform for what, you know. It's quite has a quite negative impact. Absolutely.
Yes. So so in every kind of the world, I think all industries, especially creative and arts, are the one that hit it the most.
Absolutely. We got the worst hit, I'm telling you. We are the worst because we are the last in the chain, and the first thing people abstain from is show business, luxus, etc. Like, you know, in my next life, I'm gonna be a baker and bake bread and stuff. This is always good.
Something that people will need every day.
They always need, yeah. No matter war, crisis, pandemic, whatever it is, bread they will always eat. Music, well.
That's true. So I think that's a good idea. You just gave me a thought. So yeah, maybe in the next life I will not work in the film industry anymore.
Well, you see.
All right, Robert, it's been such a nice session with you. So thank you so much, and good luck for your screening in the cinema today. My God, I'm crossing fingers that every cinema.
Thank you. We start as of today. We start slowly being airborne. Fasten your seat belts.
Yes.
And then let's see what happens. It will take a while to resonate, you know.
Yes, that's true. And now the host actually reminded me to have a photo session with you. Maybe Fina can guide us and cue us on how to do the photo session.
Yes, thank you, Mbak Putri. I am the host for this film talk session, so we will do this photo session right now. I will count to 3. Please show your best pose and smile. 1, 2, 3. Nice. Thank you once again. 1, 2, 3. Excellent. Thank you.
Wow. This is new business. Pictures.
Yes. This is the new business, pictures. That's so true.
People will always need pictures for their Instagrams, for whatever. Bread and pictures.
Oh my goodness, that's a good idea. Bread and pictures, yes.
Okay.
All right, Robert, thank you so much for spending
time with us. Thank you too for having me. It was really a sweet conversation. Have a good day, and then, well, you never know. When you come to Berlin, say something. Otherwise, enjoy the movie, enjoy the music. Go to my website, check on this. It's cool. Yes. For people who love rap. Okay, have a nice day to all of you.
Thank you, Robert. Guten Tag.
Bye-bye, Indonesia. How do you say Indonesia in your language? What's the official, how do you guys call your country?
Indonesia.
Just Indonesia. There is no local name.
Yes, practically this is the same pronunciation like what you said in Germany. So whatever written, it's just...
Okay. I'm asking because lately I spoke with a Chinese person, and they don't call it the country China. They call it Zhonghua. Like, okay, maybe that's why maybe there is something local I wanted to say or use, but okay, Indonesia. No. Bye.
Yeah, we are simpler and happy. So bye. Thank you. Yes, thank you everyone for joining our fun session today with DJ Roko Robert Soko. The film is still available to be watched. It's just starting to be open today at 2 p.m. and the tickets are still available. So if you guys want to watch, please watch the film. It's still going to be available until the next 5 days. And the website that Sir Robert mentioned earlier to listen to his new songs with Fergus is actually at the www.balkanbeats.eu. So if you want to listen to his new project, you can also check on that part. And yes, the pemenang quiz. Okay. Siapa ya yang menang kuisnya hari ini? Coba kita cek lagi. Ta-da-da-da. Okay. Yes. So the winner of the it's not a quiz actually. So it's the best questions that you guys have already earlier given us. It goes to Miss Ariana Sarah. Congratulations. And later on, our team will contact you so that you can actually give out your information and details for the gift. So thank you, everyone. We still have a lot of film talks tomorrow with my colleague Noval Yazid. And then also we still have a lot of films, even though some of the films are already sold out. But that's why you need to book it right now. So go book it directly at our festival, scope.com. Choose the one with the 21 first edition of Europe on Screen. Then you go and you sign in, and that's done. And you can watch the film on the scheduled date. So thank you. Take care. Have a good rest. Oh, don't also forget that we actually still have a talk during festival hangout with our festival co-director Noval on our Twitter at 9 p.m. So join us there. Let us know your thoughts on the films, especially our opening films and also the films Here We Move, Here We Groove and other films that have been screened today. Let us know your thoughts and we can talk there. See you guys.